right, so we're going to start with the $3,000 question, or actually, it's probably like $1 million question, but most of the courses that I've seen, the coaching courses, mastermind groups, the ones that are charging around $3,000, most of them are starting with this question. What is your superpower, right? So that question, at $3,000 you might have to pay to have someone ask you that question, but it's really like $1 million question, because if you can figure out what your superpower is, well then you're going to be pretty successful, I would imagine. So when I talk about superpowers, I don't mean like invisibility or levitation or anything crazy like that. But what I mean is there something that you feel you can be better at than like anybody in the whole world? I think there is. I think there is something inside of you that you can be like the best in the world at. And I really believe it, because every single person I've ever sat down and talked to about this, we've always been able to figure something out that they're like, wow, like really good, like maybe born to do, right? So for me personally, as I was thinking about this for myself, my thought a couple of years ago was to figure out what I'm the best at in the world and then turn that into a business, obviously, right? But I missed something with this question, right? To turn it into a business, it has to be something that you are like the best at in the world, and it can also be profitable, right? It also has to be profitable. So you might be watching this, you might say, oh, I'm the best mom in the world, or I'm the best dad in the world, or the best grandpa in the world, but is there a way to make that profitable? You know what I mean? So for me, I have been teaching martial arts forever, right? For 25 years or so, and been doing it my whole life. And so it was easy for me. I feel like I don't feel like I'm the best martial artist in the world, but I feel like I could teach somebody how to run a martial arts school. So my thought was I can develop an agency where we have a niche where we just focus on web development, sales funnels, strategies, consultation, everything for the martial arts school owner. But there's a problem with that. I did that for a while and I wasn't very successful with it. And the reason I wasn't very successful with it is because of that second part of the equation. It's got to be something that you could be the best at in the world. I really believe that I could be, and maybe I am, like one of the best in the world at consultation for professional martial arts schools. But the problem was, I can't really make it that profitable. And the reason why you can't make it that profitable is because all the martial arts schools out there, they're really, really struggling. So if I want to offer a $3,000 course for a martial arts school, it's a tough sale. It could happen, right? And I was able to gain some clients, and a lot of clients I still have. You might be watching this right now, so I love you, I appreciate you. But overall, it was hard to make that really profitable. But I started thinking, I don't know that if it's just like martial arts that I like to work with, they don't necessarily have to be martial arts instructors. One of the problems I ran into with martial arts instructors also is that martial arts are so engraved in tradition that a lot of people were not willing to learn. And if you didn't see my first video, you go back to that first video and I talk about that willingness to learn is so important. So a lot of the people that I worked with were so in tradition, where it's we've always done this way for so long and we just don't want to change because it's our tradition. They wouldn't switch things up and they wouldn't get success, right? So you have to be willing to learn. So anyways, for me, I thought, I don't know that my superpower necessarily has to stay in that niche of martial arts. I felt wow, I actually really enjoy working with really any business. Really, I love working with clients. Now, a lot of people look at the Freedom Wave company and they think, well, you're like a web designer, right? Well, I'm not very good at web design. I've never considered myself a web developer. And if some of the people that are watching this right now that have helped me with some of the web design, they're probably watching this and yeah, Justin is not a web designer, right? I try my best, but I always have to outsource certain things to make it look pretty because it's just, I don't know, I try my best with it. So web development, internet marketing, sales funnels, things like that, even though that is a huge part of what Freedom Wave offers, really what I feel my role is to work with my clients. I love working with my clients, and I love just the relationship and the team building and developing leadership and developing systems for your business, all things we're going to work on in these videos, right? So that's kind of what I like. So I figured it didn't have to stay in that niche. But what about you? I just wanted to share that story so I could kind of go over things that I felt like I could be the best at. But what about you? I feel that there has to be something inside of you. Maybe like look back to when you were a really little kid. That thing that you wanted to do. Like when people say, what do you want to do when you grow up? And when you were a little kid, you knew right away what you wanted to do when you grew up, right? I'm going to talk about that in my next video, what I wanted to do when I grow up, right? And so when you were a little kid, what did you want to do? What was that passion that was inside of you? Remember that. We got to go back to that. And is there something that's kind of been pulling at your heart all this time, but you've never really pulled the trigger on it? You've never done it. I'm giving you permission right now to go for it. You only live once. Our life is very short compared to eternity when we're not alive on this earth anymore, right? And so you got to go for it. It's now or never, man. So you got to do it right now. So that's our purpose in Freedom Wave, is to help you get that passion and that dream online, to kind of get you a victory in that business. And if it's something that you're really passionate about, and maybe you could even say like a God-given ability or something that's kind of put on your heart, I believe the success is going to come easy for you, right? Momentum will come easy. But you got to figure that out. You got to know what is that thing you're most passionate about. And if you're just thinking about making a website because, you just want to make some money, you just want to make some money here, make some money there, that's dangerous. What are you passionate about? What do you really want to do? And that's what we're going to work on. So what's your superpower?